Hello everyone, Arlene Lyons here, owner of Paul Mitchell the School Esani in Georgia and Paul Mitchell the School Sacramento in California. I'd like to have a little conversation with you, but it's going to take more than a couple minutes. So I'd like you to pull up a chair, settle in, and hear me out. Between the coronavirus pandemic, the resulting economic crisis, and the indomitable fight for racial justice in the wake of the horrific murders of George Floyd and so many other named and unnamed Black citizens, the last few months and weeks have simultaneously been the most emotional time of my life and the most empowering time of my life. Emotional because the confluence of unfathomable tragedies has unearthed a flood of painful experiences buried deep in the souls of so many of us. And empowering because for the first time in my lifetime, we are witnessing an awakening of resounding voices of every color, creed, age, race, and persuasion, all standing in the gap of inequity and injustice and demanding permanent positive change. Hateful, racist, and discriminatory behavior has no place in our schools. To all leaders, affiliates, team members, and future professionals, if you don't share these values, we respectfully invite you to join a different company because we are 100% committed to making Paul Mitchell Schools a safe haven and a positive example for people everywhere. These are the exact words of Dean and co-founder of Paul Mitchell Schools, Win Claiborne. With this kind of unequivocal and unshakable stance from the very top of Paul Mitchell, it is clear why we should all feel empowered to not only raise our voices, but to take the kind of bold and decisive actions that will create irreversible momentum in the direction of the lasting positive change that we all desire to achieve. Equally motivating to me as the leadership from the top is the leadership that I am seeing from the young people both inside and outside our schools who are taking to the streets and to the social media airwaves in a kaleidoscope of humanity and a symphony of voices relentlessly fighting for racial justice and equality for Black people and for all people. To all Paul Mitchell leaders, Win, John Paul, Angus, Michaeline, I am inspired by your courageous leadership. To the young activists or future professionals or team members and those in the wider community, I thank you. I truly believe that the ultimate solution to these seemingly intractable issues lies at the nexus between, on the one hand, the experienced, committed leadership at the top who have a genuine openness to learn, grow, and change, and on the other hand, the audacious fearlessness of the youth movement within our student body and among our teams who are willing to put everything on the line in the name of a more just and idealistic future. Now, Win Claiborne outlined in a recent video message the first steps that our Paul Mitchell network is taking to create an environment in our schools where diversity is not just tolerated, but honored and celebrated, and where inclusion is not just an initiative, but a permanent outcome of the process of transformational change. I encourage you to take a look at Win's video message if you haven't done so already. Now, to our Paul Mitchell the School Esani and Paul Mitchell the School Sacramento future professionals and team members. Many of you know my story about what brought me to the beauty industry. And if you do, you also know that the path we are going down today is personal for me. After 14 years in corporate America, when I decided I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I was attracted to the beauty industry because I was unhappy with my experience as a salon client and I wanted to make a positive difference. There were two defining experiences in particular. First, back in 1991, when I moved to Palo Alto, California to start my MBA program at Stanford University, It was more than a little off-putting when I walked into a salon in my new neighborhood and discovered that none of the stylists could perform a simple shampoo style service on my hair. They had never done black hair before. Another defining experience is one that actually replayed itself over and over again throughout my years in corporate America when I moved first to Connecticut, then to Pennsylvania, and later to Wisconsin and to Cincinnati to assume different corporate jobs. Each time I found myself having to commute long distances from my home in order to find a black hair salon. Along the way, I also encountered many black stylists who were supremely talented but still struggling to make it financially. At the time, I wondered why so many decades after Jim Crow, we still had an industry that was so extremely segregated. As a result, when I decided to become a Paul Mitchell School owner, I made a commitment to myself and to my students that any future professional who attends one of my schools will graduate with the full confidence that no matter the race or ethnicity of the guest who sits in their chair, and whether or not they are working in a salon in Atlanta, Georgia, or one in Palo Alto, California, they will be able to provide a high quality service to that guest. And they will also be able to successfully monetize their talents to make a quality living for themselves and for their families. So to our service guests, we ask that you please understand that our school's commitment to our students is that they will learn a full complement of skills on a complete spectrum of hair and skin types. What this means is that you won't always be able to book your favorite student stylist or student esthetician. We need our black students to have enough practice on non-black hair and skin types, and we need our non-black students to have adequate practice on black hair and skin. This is why we always have and will continue to reject requests for student stylists that match your own race or ethnicity. This completely defeats the educational purpose of our institution and violates the sacred commitment we have made to our future professionals. Now, in addition to the action items which Win Claiborne shared in his video message, there are a few other immediate actions that I would like to emphasize for my schools. First, we will begin an authentic dialogue among our team members and with diverse groups of future professionals so we could listen, learn, and engage you in creative solutions. And I will then bring these ideas and solutions to the recently formed Equity and Opportunity Council, of which I am proud to be a part. Second, we will embrace and take advantage of all of the changes in the curriculum, training, policies, and practices that are currently being implemented to promote diversity and inclusion in all of our Paul Mitchell schools. Next, we will redouble our efforts to eliminate the racial disparity in our guest service assignments to ensure that we maximize the learning of all of our future professionals. And finally, we must commit ourselves within our schools to becoming a shining example of equity, diversity, inclusion, opportunity, and unity in not just our words, but also in our deeds. In closing, I would like to address what might be some natural fears on the part of the non-Black students and team members in our schools. You might be asking yourselves, what does this focus on racial justice mean for me? What I would say in response is fear not. This is not a zero-sum game. We are not taking away rights from any group so we could give more rights to another group. In fact, the beauty of the proposition we have in front of us is that we all rise together. By ensuring we give equitable treatment to everyone in our community, we make sure our schools are a better place for all of us. The other key point is that diversity is not a black and white issue. It is an issue of valuing all differences. In fact, we affectionately call our Esani school the United Nations of Cosmetology Schools because we have team members of every race, ethnicity, culture, and national origin. We have a beautiful cacophony of accents and customs that results in uniquely creative solutions and gives rise to a natural culture of healthy debate, mutual respect, and a feeling of belonging. As we look to tackle head on the very challenging issues of systemic racism and unconscious bias, I would like you to know that we will make mistakes. We will offend each other at times. We will be the target of hurtful rhetoric. I encourage us to embrace this as a natural process of learning, growth, and change. And through it all, I would like you to understand that what we are asking of each other is coming from a place of love. So to my team members, future professionals, and fellow community members, we have been given a unique opportunity that comes along perhaps once in a lifetime, perhaps once in several generations, to be not just a witness to history in the making, but to make history that will be witnessed by others for generations to come. This is our moment of truth. This is our time of a lifetime. We were built for this. We are meant to do this. The moment is not too big for us, and we are not too big for the moment. By owning this as our purpose, we get to turn unthinkable tragedy into unbelievable triumph, to turn incalculable loss into an incomparable legacy. So let's go. Let's do this together. Thank you.